Hello, I'm Patrycja Wojtkowiak and you're watching Webcertain TV. As the biggest internet market in the world and soon to be the biggest e-commerce market, China is top of the international expansion list for many businesses. Yet while the opportunity is great, so are the challenges of building an effective and profitable online presence. And to tell us more, Christina Xu is here today. Okay, so Christina, what makes the Chinese internet market different to other countries?
I would say everything comes to China is different. When you think about the search engine, you have Baidu, you have Sogo, you have Qihoo. When it comes to e-commerce, you have a different website like Taobao, Tmall. In comparison with eBay or Amazon, you would imagine in the Western world. It seems like everything because the Chinese Great Firewall and all the regulation in place, they got this environment to be able to have something more localized to grow, and they can now compete with the international giant. Like for instance, we are talking about Google. Now Google is completely out of the mainland China and they are only operating in Hong Kong. China is mainly dominated by Baidu, Qihoo, and other small Chinese search engines.
And how big is the opportunity, in China for international businesses? And is there a demand for, any particular services or products?
That's put it in this way, put back into the context of the population. In China, you have over 1.3 billion people in China. The internet user is about 649 million internet users. So that's a huge market to tackle. Here we are talking about UK population, probably only 10% of that. And in terms of opportunities for overseas business, I would say Forex, travel-related companies, for instance, like hotels, airlines, travel agencies. These are the quite hot topics for international business.
Okay. And many people have heard of Baidu as the leading search engine in China. But are there any other search engines worth mentioning when it comes to China?
Yes, indeed. Here I would add on another two. Qihoo, under Qihoo there is a search engine they used to call 360 Search. Recently, I would say around maybe like in March, April time, they renamed that as Household. They probably take about 15 to 20% of the market share in China. And Sogo probably take about roughly 10% by the time we are talking about this product. Years ago, probably just below 5%. But here we still need to think about the population. Even 1% of internet user, that's like 10% of the UK population.
Yeah.
So even the percentage probably looks small, but still that's a huge market. And we did test some product on Qihoo with our clients, and we do find out even though the traffic volume is much smaller than Baidu and the functionality is not really brilliant, but I have to say the traffic quality actually is quite good. We were surprised and our clients got quite good ROI.
Brilliant.
So maybe for some small business, they could test the water from there.
So can the same principles as other search engines like Google, for instance, be applied when conducting SEO or PPC campaigns in the Chinese search engines?
Yes, it would still work. Like I mentioned earlier, everything when it comes to China is kind of following the same model but with modifications. So here SEO, we are still talking about the same principles. You need to optimize your page, targeting keywords, meta tags, backlinks, everything is the same. The only thing what is different is the timeline or lead time, maybe we would say. It will take much longer, especially when a website, if they only trying SEO effort on some generic terms, it will take them forever to get there. And even with the same amount of effort, like what you are doing on Google and what you are doing on Baidu, you're probably not going to see the same result within the same time. What we notice with Baidu is if your website do not have enough traffic, it's really difficult for you to rank higher. So the ideal situation is our clients should get on PPC platform first to boost the traffic, to build some trust. Then Baidu probably will take the website as a priority, then start to see slow progress on SEO. If you only try an SEO on its own, it's going to be such a long journey. In terms of PPC, it's the same as Google. You still need to pay attention to the relevancy of your keywords, your ads, your landing page, make sure it's appearing in all these places, ensure the quality score is higher. That's pretty much the same. There are some small, like how do we say that? It can be different from Google. Like say, for instance, when we're talking about match type, we will notice Baidu, just the phrase match, you got 3 degrees of phrase match, which is different. And Baidu do offer like certain products within the search, like say search remarketing, they do not require any tracking code. It's slightly different from what Google is doing, but the principle, the direction is the same. So everything still applies, but with modifications.
Okay. And how important is mobile search in China?
Well, I would say China is really mobile heavy market. Among the 649 million people I mentioned that people are online, around 559 actually are on mobile. So it's around 83% of the online population actually are using mobile to browse the internet, and around 69% of them actually purchased one item from their smartphone. This is really huge market. Well, for mobile, for all the internet users.
Okay, so definitely something to bear in mind.
Yeah.
And now, could you tell me what are the most important things for international businesses to be aware of when they are trying to target China through search?
I would always want to ask my clients about their customers. Do they already have customers in China? We had inquiries like people come over to us say, okay, we want to get into China because we heard of there is a huge opportunity, but actually the products they do probably not going to sell in China and they are going to spend a lot. So first of all, do they have a customer base in China? Do we know any information about their customer? Again, back to the context of China, this is a huge country we are talking about. If you are going to target the whole region of China, your budget will not last very long. So the ideal situation is we start to test a few top selling regions, like say a few cities or provinces to start with. Once we know there is a customer base in China, then we need to figure out what other tracking platform the clients would like to use. Because like some clients really worry that they could be that the website information be hijacked by the government. They refuse to install any tracking code from Baidu. So we need to know how can we track all the performance through the Baidu PPC campaign or even any other search engine in China. If we do not know how the sales converted, where converted, we could not do a great job there. Once again, I think we also need to know in terms of the website, is that mobile compatible? As we mentioned earlier, mobile is so important. Nearly 83% of people actually use mobile. And because it's that important, on Baidu, they make that compulsory. So the minimum bid of your mobile can be only like 10% of your PC bid. So you are all right if the PC bid is quite low. But when some keywords is much more expensive, regardless you want to spend or not, you will be bidding on the mobile. To prevent you from wasting your budget on somewhere you are not compatible is to think, are we ready? Do we have a mobile compatible website? Do we have apps? That's very important. I think that's a few top questions we would normally think what the clients should be aware of before they would like to do any PPC campaigns in China.
That's great. These are some really useful tips. Thank you very much.